Her text arrived at exactly 7:12 a.m. The timing burned itself into my memory like a scar. The words were sharp, clinical, almost surgical in how they cut through me. It's over. From this moment, all communication goes through my lawyer. No preamble. No apology. No explanation. Just a sterile execution notice delivered through a glowing phone screen. It was as if our years together, our laughter, our nights spent planning the future, our struggles and sacrifices, had been reduced to a single cold paragraph. I stared at the message once. My hand didn't shake. My chest didn't heave. Instead, a strange calm settled over me. And then I typed back just 2 words. Noted. That was it. No begging. No pleading. No asking why. Because in that moment something shifted inside me. I stopped being her husband. I stopped being the man who gave, who sacrificed, who forgave. Became something else. I became her reckoning. There was a time when she looked at me like I was her anchor. When she believed in me, leaned on me, laughed with me. We built everything together, brick by brick. The mortgage payments, the long nights at work, the vacations we could barely afford but took anyway. The dinners with friends where we pretended we had it all figured out. Carried more than my share. I sacrificed silently. Every late night at the office wasn't for me. It was for us. Every time I swallowed my frustration, it was for us. And for a long time I thought that meant something. But love doesn't always explode when it dies. Sometimes it rots slowly, quietly, until one day you realize the person you thought you knew is a stranger wearing familiar skin. The signs were there. Small things at first. Nights that stretched longer than her excuses. A phone that was always face down on the table. The sudden perfumes clinging to her clothes that weren't hers. And then came the bigger cracks. A hidden credit card bill with charges I'd never made. Fine dining restaurants I'd never been invited to. Hotel bookings under her name. On nights she told me she was staying late at work. I didn't confront her. Not immediately. Because silence, when used correctly, can cut sharper than any accusation. And I wanted her to believe I was blind. But I wasn't blind. I was patient. The final nail came late one night. I woke up to the sound of her voice drifting down the hallway. She was on the phone, whispering softly. Her voice dripping with a kind of tenderness she hadn't used with me in years. She laughed. A delicate, intimate laugh I hadn't heard in so long. It wasn't heartbreak that filled me in that moment. It was clarity. A shift in mindset. And so, when her cold little message arrived the next morning, I didn't collapse. I didn't even flinch. I simply replied, noted. And with that the game changed. Within hours I made my first move. Called the bank. Froze the accounts. Cancelled the cards. Everything she used for her little games. Gone in minutes. I called payroll, split my direct deposits, secured assets under my name. Investments were rerouted, property shifted. She thought she was untouchable. She thought walking away from me meant she got to keep the life I built. But money is oxygen. And when you cut it off, even the proudest will suffocate. At the 24-hour mark, silence. She was still confident. Still prideful. She believed I would break first. At the 48-hour mark, I imagined her trying to swipe her card at some boutique, only to watch it decline. I pictured the confusion. The panic building beneath her mask of arrogance. And by the 72nd hour, the silence cracked. Her lawyer called, voice rushed and frantic. "Mr. Daniels, there seems to be a problem. Your wife. She's unable to access any funds. Her accounts appear to be frozen. She's extremely distressed." I let the silence hang on the line. I wanted him to squirm. Finally I spoke, my voice steady, calm. "She wanted all communication through you. Consider this my reply." Then I hung up. That evening the inevitable happened. She came crawling back to the house she had abandoned. Her hair was a mess. Her confidence shattered. She looked smaller, weaker, like the weight of her own choices had finally crushed her. "You can't do this," she hissed, though her voice trembled. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't stand in anger. I simply poured myself a drink and sat across from her. composed, untouchable. You left, I said evenly. Your message was clear. All communication through your lawyer. I'm just playing by the rules you set. Her eyes burned with hatred, but beneath it was fear. I'll take everything in court. I'll ruin you, she spat. Smiled. Low. Patient. The smile of a man who had already won. Then I slid a thick folder across the table. Inside were bank statements, hotel receipts, credit card records, and photographs. Proof of every betrayal she thought she had hidden. No, I said. You won't be taking anything. In fact, you'll be lucky if you don't walk away owing me. Her hands trembled as she flipped through the pages, her face draining of color. For the first time in years, she had nothing to say. No excuses, no lies, just silence. I didn't gloat. I didn't shout. I simply stood, walked to the door, and opened it. Good night. She left without another word. And in the silence that followed, I didn't feel sorrow. I didn't feel regret. Felt peace. Because she thought she could discard me like a broken toy. She thought betrayal would come without consequence. But she forgot who built the life she lived. And she forgot who could take it all away. So when she texted me, "It's over," what she really sent wasn't a declaration. It was an invitation. An invitation to meet the man she thought she could break. Not the husband. Not the provider. But the man who could burn her kingdom to ashes with two simple words. Noted.